look at the history of cinema, these great classically told tales from World War II. I'd never made a film like that, and I thought, this would be really interesting. What would our version be of this? My duty as an officer is to save human lives. I also felt that it was a contemporary story in that the themes are things that I thought were timeless, really.
Well, we have to show the world that not all of us were like him. Otherwise, this will always be Hitler's Germany.
There was a tremendous amount of research that went into play here with Valkyrie, which was fascinating and exciting and informative, from studying geopolitics, the late 19th century, early 20th century, to trying to glean everything I could about Stauffenberg, reading, the biographies on him, and this time period, trying to understand the politics from that perspective. Being raised here in America, and I never knew that someone was trying to stop or opposed, or that there was conflict, or how outspoken some of them were.
This is a military operation. Nothing ever goes according to plan.
Operation Valkyrie is in effect. We were able to shoot in Berlin at actual locations where these men and women were, and hearing their stories about their families, we really became embedded in that culture and created the culture of that time period around us always. We were watching a lot of documentaries and sharing books back and forth, and it was 7 days a week when we started working on it, and still it's endless that what you can learn from that time period, and the stories are infinite.
Can these men see it through? Come and hear what they have to say.
We shot a location where we called it the Smoky Room. It's where I first meet the Resistance. And that house is actually where Stauffenberg came at one point. And actually that house, the bomb was stored there. And there was a woman who was a young girl and she met Stauffenberg. So there's people like that, and so I always had people come on the set. I like having people come on the set, and I spent time with her, and she came back the next day and brought her photos, and we talked about that time period. I looked at photos of her and her sister when they were young and what it was like before, and her father was actually executed for being part of the Resistance, and so she showed me pictures of her father. Told me the story when she found out that her father was executed and how it was delivered to her, and it's shocking, it's painful, and yet there we were in that room, and the room hadn't changed much from when Stauffenberg had been there, and she'd grown up in that room, and it was pretty endlessly fascinating subject matter.
We have to kill Hitler. God promised Abraham he would not destroy Sodom if he could find just 10 righteous men. I have a feeling that for Germany, it may come down to one.
You have Bryan Singer, who directed Superman, the X-Men, The Usual Suspects, someone who really knows how to tell that kind of story in that way. And he gives you great cinematic moments. To work with Bryan Singer on this particular piece, I thought it would be great. Bryan is a great filmmaker. You see what he does. He understands cinema storytelling really well. His composition, his staging. I really like and respect the performances that he gets with the actors, and to go into a world. And it was a subject matter that he was quite passionate about.
Any problem on Earth can be solved with a careful application of high explosives.
This movie is a thriller, and absolutely it also happens to be based on historical events, but it's definitely a thriller. And that's what you want in a movie. I want to entertain an audience. That is really the most important thing for me, because I like being entertained, when I go to the movies. And how can we take this story and have it? How can we make it as compelling as this story, what it felt like for the Resistance, and put the audience in that subjective reality of the Resistance, and then make it so that it's a movie, and we're all really proud of it.